Take a seat if you can, ladies and gentlemen. We will begin our talk and interview very soon, but we'll get you to your seats.
We hope everyone's having a good day so far. Got a couple of wins on the races.
Put your hands up if you've won. Make some noise if you've won.
All right.
You out the back there.
That's about 4 people so far. Let's hope that improves.
Okay.
If we could take our seats, we're about to get into a bit of a panel here. We know we're all here to have fun, but for a great cause. So if we could take a seat, because we're about to jump into some pretty serious and pretty important stuff. And the reason we're all here today.
Absolutely. Before we get started, can I have your attention, because there's a big announcement. If we can all cast our eyes when we're listening. Thank you very much, team. To the back corner and acknowledge Kelly Haneker. She's 40 today. 40 years old. Here we go. Happy birthday. We're doing it. Happy birthday to you. It's Kelly. Happy birthday. Beautiful.
Can everyone else sing so she can stop?
Happy birthday to you. Well done. Happy birthday, Kelly. She'll be heels in hand right in a bin by about 3 p.m. this afternoon. Thanks, Kel.
Okay, so we're about to jump into a panel. Before we do, though, the Race Against Suicide
Pay attention. This is
acknowledges... Yeah, we'll start that again.
Hang on, start again.
The Race Against Suicide acknowledges the individual and collective expertise of those with a lived and living experience of mental ill health and suicide, and those who love, have loved, and care for them. Each person's journey is unique. We value the contribution of those that share their perspective for the purpose of learning and growing together, like we are today, to achieve better outcomes for all. So we acknowledge at the end of each statistic is a person, a family, workplace, and community that's been impacted by suicide. We thank you for sharing your experience so that together we can continue to fight back against suicide. And that's what we're here for today. And so we're going to jump into this panel now where we'll be able to learn a lot, maybe things we didn't know. So if we could all take some time to listen to each of our guests, that would be great.
Yes, if we can invite to the stage, please, Toby Dawson, Dan Hunt, Chloe Hackett. Can you make your way to the stage, please?
Now, fortunately for me, because I grew up with 2 of these guys and we could get some very wily answers, I'm not hosting this and neither is Bella. We're going to invite one of our great mates and former workmates to the stage, Martin Nicholas Haynes, OAM, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Bella. Thanks, Christian. Thanks, everyone, for coming out today. Of course, we've all been, sadly, we've all probably been touched by suicide in one way or another. It's also great that we have the support of Lifeline South Coast that are here with today. Their trained team are available if you need a private conversation or just someone to listen. And as we say, it's very important to talk to someone. But of course, I'll start off with Dan from the mental health movement. You played 151 games with the Dragons. You played in the Prime Minister's Australian team. You were picked to play for New South Wales Country. And then your world stopped through to injury when you stopped playing the great game that you loved. How did that play on you mentally?
I think the transition for me was easier than it probably is for most. It was more so in 2010 when I hit rock bottom through missing that grand final. And look, I didn't know how to deal with it. Felt isolated, disconnected, and for me, I turned to substance use, as I said, isolation and things like that. And I was afraid to ask for help. I was afraid to put my hand up because, that's not how I was brought up. Being brought up, I guess, to get on with it, get over it and harden up. And if you do put your hand up, it's looked upon as a sign of weakness. But in that footy world, it's like, did people want to play with you? Were you going to lose your contract and things like that? So for me, I just suffered in silence. But for me also, I had some people around me, like my wife Nadine, that got me to realise it was okay to struggle, but it was also okay to seek support. And I guess going through those struggles is what lit the fire inside of me in trying to make some changes in the mental health space.
Toby, you're one of the driving forces behind today's Race Against Suicide. Why did you put your hand up to do it?
Yeah, look, I think Christian just touched on it with his acknowledgement of lived experience, but there's 7 million Australian adults who know someone who's either died by suicide or attempted suicide. I'm unfortunately one of the 7 million people that know that. I also know that I've had my own struggles with my mental ill health, and at times I've been in that hole where it's been extremely dark and I didn't know if there was a light at the end of the tunnel. But I have good fortune in having a fantastic family and support network who have always been by my side to pull me through, to let me know that the sun will come up tomorrow. And I think with that is a level of privilege, and with privilege comes responsibility. And I feel, as one of the privileged few that have that fantastic support network, it's up to me to do what I can to make sure that we're empowering more people in our community to understand what they can do to help people that are struggling. Because it's not about that one person in the middle reaching out for help, because we know that that doesn't work. It's about the 20 people around them reaching in to say, what can I do to help you more? So if today we can help people learn what they can do to be one of those 20, and if we can out of today save one life and let them know that tomorrow will be better than today, that's a massive win.
Chloe, of course, you're part of the team here at Kembla Grange Racecourse. You were the one that put your hand up as well, and you started this day, and it's a credit to you for what you and your team have done. A round of applause for Chloe. She has certainly done an amazing job behind the scenes that you don't go unnoticed, I can tell you that. But why did you do it? Why does it mean? What's the importance of today for you?
So I'm not as good as talking off the cusp like these two, so I've actually written my answer down for Marty. So bear with me. When I'm asked this question, it's a pretty hard one to answer. It's come from something incredibly painful, but also deeply powerful. Sitting here today, I feel a deep sense of gratitude, not just for everyone's presence, but for the reason we've come together, to make a difference in the fight against suicide and mental health. This event isn't just a gathering or a calendar date, it's a commitment, a conversation and a lifeline. This cause is very personal to me. When I was 15, my best friend died by suicide, and it was pretty life-altering. At that age, I didn't really have the tools to understand how I felt, and I just knew the silence it left behind for myself and all of my friends around me was pretty deafening. The grief, the confusion, and the feeling of helplessness never fully leaves you, but it changes you and it makes you look at life very differently. And for me, it planted a seed that hopefully one day I'd be in a position to do something positive around mental health. The idea for the race day started after one of my husband's close friends and work colleagues, Liam, died by suicide. The heartbreak was overwhelming to everybody that loved him. I felt helpless watching my husband navigate the grief of losing someone so close. Helpless because I didn't know how to take away the pain or offer the kind of support that he or anyone around him needed. After feeling that helplessness and talking to our CEO, Steve, we decided to do something and to turn the pain into a purpose. So to be able to sit here now and help run and facilitate an event dedicated to suicide prevention, to me, is one of the highlights in my career. It means that everyone's grief has found a purpose, that out of heartbreak, something powerful can begin. This is an event about education and raising awareness, but not only that, it's about creating space, a safe space for conversation, for vulnerability and for hope. It's about making sure people know they're not alone and there is help out there. To those we've lost, we carry your memory in every step we take today. We speak your names and we work tirelessly so that others might stay. This isn't just a race day, it's a movement. It's a conversation starter. It's a chance to bring awareness to services and supports, whether someone is struggling quietly or simply doesn't know where to turn. I've been blown away by the response of today. For me, the most important part of this day is that if just one person finds hope or finds help, then everything we've done has been truly worthwhile. This day is for every person who's ever felt like they couldn't speak up, for every family left behind, and for every future life we can save just by starting the conversation. Thank you to everyone for being here. Let's keep doing the work together. Let's keep showing up for each other and for those who can't be here with us today.
Yeah, well said, Chloe. Of course, Dan, you go around the country with your business that you do. How important is it to talk?
Yeah, I think very, very much so, Marty. Yeah, doing the work for the last 10 years, a lot of us never got taught this stuff growing up. We're all just doing the best with what we've been given, and a lot of us have been brought up that old school way, which is get on with it, get over and harden up, have that teaspoon of concrete and that mentality. But the thing about it is we're all human beings, and being a human being is hard. And we do struggle, but a lot of us haven't been sort of shown how to show that vulnerability. But we also haven't been shown the skills or the knowledge to be able to be that support network to other people. So the thing about knowledge, though, is when we start to know something, we understand things a bit more. And then we are able to not just ask the questions, are you okay, but go a little bit further. If someone isn't okay, we've noticed some changes, bring that up with them. And then I think the biggest part is a lot of people steer away from those tough conversations because they feel they're not a mental health professional. They feel, well, I can't fix it, I can't solve it, I can't diagnose it. Where that's not our role and responsibility. Our role and responsibility in being that support network is just to try and build that connection, gather a little bit of information and listen. And when we listen, we can have a bit of an understanding of what that person may need and link them into those appropriate supports. But it's pretty amazing when you do go and obviously share your own story, and so do our other facilitators. But when you start to provide people the knowledge, it's like the penny drops, and they start to understand things, and that's where conversations happen. And it's a credit to GM3 at Dendrobian. I know a lot of the boys in the crew are here, but one of the toughest industries in the world, one of the most dangerous industries in the world, and those lads have embraced it, and they support each other within those crews, and it's pretty magical to be able to see what a bit of education and connection can do. And I think that's exactly what Chloe's saying today, is today's not going to fix and solve world's problems, but it could just be that little ripple effect of that conversation that someone might have with someone that might be doing it a little bit tough.
Chloe, we have people here to facilitate that today, don't we? To talk if someone wants and needs to talk today, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We've got a breakout room, so if anyone needs that, it is over near our office. And we've got Lifeline here to help with anything anyone needs.
Toby, you came up with the minute applause. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think, I mentioned it earlier, every statistic we talk about is actually a person and a family. And too often with suicide, when we reflect on the grief and the pain that immediately follows the loss of someone that we've loved, someone that we've cared for, someone that we've had the pleasure of working with. So today what we'll be doing, we won't be doing a minute of silence, which often is what people do to remember someone. We'll actually be taking to the track and we'll be doing a minute of applause to reflect on everything positive that those people mean to us, every positive memory that we have of the people that we've lost, every great thing that we can remember, and put these people that we've lost back into that really positive part of our life that we knew and loved and cared for them and we got to enjoy. We want to bring those memories of everything great about those people we've lost back to the fore, and that's why we'll be having a minute of applause.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, and feel free if you want to do that, put your hand up in this room if you have been affected by suicide. It's a lot of people. It's a shame we have to put our hand up, but of course, what do we do, Dan? How do we tackle it? What's the best way?
Yeah, it's a very complicated question, Marty, and I do want to acknowledge anyone in this room that has been impacted by suicide, whether directly or indirectly, because the ripple effect.
Yeah.
It's something that, as Chloe said, it never leaves you. The answer, I don't know exactly what the answer is, Marty. I think there's many, many pieces to the puzzle. As I sort of said before, everyone is different. Everyone has different thresholds. Everyone has different coping mechanisms, abilities to cope, different understandings and things like that. And then you've obviously got people around being those support networks. But I really do feel it can start with connection and conversations. That's a big part of it. I think education and training is another big part of it, because we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
And for a lot of us, like, we do our first aid course to be able to do CPR and things like that, where it can save lives, where I think we need to look at it the same in the mental health space. Where, what do the statistics say? 1 in 5 or 20% of the Australian population will experience a mental illness this year. And everyone has a mental health. It's everyone's business. But we can't no longer just keep sweeping under the carpet, pretending like it's not there. And I still come into workshops and you hear people say, oh, what do I got to do this mental health stuff for? It's bullshit. It doesn't affect me. Mental health affects everybody. So I think starting with that is that acknowledgement, that connection, but getting that education and training for ourselves. Another part, look, there is a lot of support networks out there. Like, you've got your Lifelines, your suicide callback services, your Beyond Blues, your Black Dog Institutes. There is a lot of support out there. But what I see in the work that we're doing is there's a lot of barriers to get to that support. The current stats say 54% of Australians still to this day that go through a mental health struggle or experience mental ill health, they do not seek support, they suffer in silence. And mental illness is one of the big risk factors to suicide. So a big part of it, what I see, is how do we start to identify and break down some of these barriers, which is stigma, stereotype, judgment, access, lack of understanding. The barriers go on, but I really feel if we can start to identify some of these barriers in our friendship circles, in our communities, and we can start to overcome some of these barriers, we will be able to get more people sort of seeking that support. More people will be educated and trained, and we'll start to see a bit of a ripple effect of it. And we've been able to see that in the work we're doing at the mental health movement. And that's what I've dedicated my life to.
Do you reckon social media plays a small or a big part in how people think these days?
Yeah, it's a huge piece, and mental health is very much a big part of the suicide journey, but there's so many other facets to it. You know, it could be relationship breakdown, it could be struggles at work, it could be financial pressures, it could be housing pressures, and social media is very much one of the many pressures that can lead to suicidality. And the thing with social media is it's the blessing and the curse, because it is a blessing in that it does provide access to people to access support services that may not otherwise be able to do it, to get in touch with information that they otherwise may not have been able to find. But unfortunately, especially with the younger generations, it is creating a whole new level of pressure that they're having to navigate that none of us would have dealt with. Those are pressures around image, those are pressures around success, those are pressures around that personal identity that they need to portray online, which is sometimes disconnected to the life and the struggles that they're leading. So I think for anyone that has younger people in their lives, be acutely aware of their online presence and understand how connected that is to the real life reality they have, so that if there is a disconnect, you can support and work with them to ensure that it doesn't become a damning influence on suicidality, but can actually shift to being a positive enabler to get the right support and the right access.
Want to finish on our last words before we wrap this up?
No, for me, it's just, thanks everyone for coming. Just the littlest of things can make the biggest of differences in this space. But I think just have a look at the 5 closest people to you. When's the last time you did have a meaningful, vulnerable conversation with them? When did you check in with them? Let's do that. Let's check in with those 5 closest people to you and see what the ripple effect can go from there. But at the end of the day, you are not alone.
All right, a round of applause for Dan, Chloe and Toby. Thanks everyone for being part of today.